I'm going to simply share some stories and see how they interweave. I had cousins staying here this weekend who I haven't seen in a while, who I love. And they were here for a wedding, which was elsewhere, but they used our home as a base. But the day after they arrived, one of them came down with COVID. So he suddenly was isolating in our house. And the rest of the family checked with the wedding party to see if they were okay. They all tested negative, and they went to the wedding, but we stayed home with my cousin who was isolated upstairs and didn't see him at all, even though I haven't seen him in a year or two. And of course, very aware that Blanche and I may both have been infected. So, um, still early to tell, but that brings up a lot of issues, of course. They have just departed moments before we started the class. Um, but part of the issue it brought up for me was you may get COVID and you're old and it could become lethal. And not to be into dramatics or anything of that nature, but what I did uh, was looked at finality with a kind of immediacy. And I felt I'm fine with the world. All's well with my life. If this is the end of my journey, and I'm not trying to be dramatic, but if it's the end of my journey, I am fine with that. Life has somehow um, come together in all the pieces, and there's a kind of wholeness and a still pointedness and a beauty and a joy and a gratitude and a awareness that all's good. And I've never felt more absolutely at peace with the wholeness of my existence. Not to say that it's going anywhere, because as you all know, anything can happen. And in the story universe of anything can happen, uh, yesterday I turned on the TV and a what appeared to be possible revolution was happening in Russia, which was dominating all of the news channels. Why I even went there, I don't know. But these were madmen, and they were potentially coming into conflict in a very big way. But what came to me, because the story was so immediate and so dramatic and so in our face, if you were paying attention, was that the world is very small and our lives are very small. And what used to be considered the drama of family existence, like if you have an uncle who's a little crazy, who's fighting with another uncle who's a little crazy, it's going to impact you on some level. Your mother or father are going to be upset and the cousins will be worried, and all of that drama will somehow come filtering into your life. Well, I really understood yesterday in a way that, of course, we're all family and that crazy uncles were fighting, but they had lethal capacity to do a lot of damage to a lot of people in the process. And of course, it just made me so sensitive to the idea that we are literally family. We all impact one another. We're all in this together, and we are vulnerable to all the things that can happen in our immediate lives and in a global way. And it's becoming more and more evident of the singularity of all of this is very dramatic and very powerful. And in some ways beautiful, because social media and all of the technologies we have are weaving the patterns of our lives so that we become a kind of wholeness that we may not have ever been aware of in history before. It has absolutely wonderful quality. At times I go onto YouTube and I see amazing people, or Instagram, and I go, where are all of these strange, gorgeous talents coming from? People singing and dancing and surprising one another, and all of these things that are so global, and yet they're right in front of me. And I'm looking at all of this stuff and going, who knew? Who knew there were so many talented people? Who knew there was so much going on in the world, in every little nick and cranny or nook and cranny of life? It's everywhere. It's so dynamic. It's so exquisite and so beautiful. And yet, in the middle of all of this incredible story, there is a lot of me, I, self-centeredness, confusion, kind of weaving of patterns that, in a way, don't look good, don't add up well. The palette is, often used badly. The tapestry of the lives that are created are often kind of not pleasant to look at. And every so often, an artist comes into play who takes all of those diverse pieces and puts them together and reflects something back to us that is stunningly beautiful. And we realize, oh, this can be beautiful. There's a way of seeing life that is beautiful, that is joyous, that is amazing. And to be able to see that is exquisite. To have an artist show it to you is exquisite. But in the midst of all of this, there is something else which is really central, which is this idea of higher consciousness. The idea of viewing the world, in a sense, the way an artist views the world, seeing the beauty for yourself, not just because somebody is showing it to you, but because you are aware of it, you are a witness of it. Higher consciousness is a way of observing life from another perspective, where you are not lost in the equation, but you are rising above and having perspective on the totality of what you are in. And the door to higher consciousness is a door that some people enter and many people do not enter. But one of the keys to that door is something Rudy taught, which is sit still, go into your heart chakra, and ask for help to surrender. Take a breath, hold it, ask for help to surrender, meaning to open to and accept life and everything that is happening exactly as it is in that moment. And what starts to happen is the artist's perspective, the view, the singular view of the beauty of life and the world, the familial, the collective, the power of singularity, all starts to reveal itself to those who are willing to look deeply. As you probably have figured out in the course of your day-to-day life, you do not meet a lot of people doing that, looking deeply. You do not meet a lot of people who are open-eyed, awake, seeing the artful collection of all the materials of life coming together in a way that reflects this exquisite quality and patterning and tapestry of being. We don't see that a lot. The incredible thing is that you are self-chosen, or have been chosen, to be witnesses and to be artists, in a sense, witnesses to the life and the beauty of existence that's in front of you. And that is rare. You are rare. You may or may not know that, but the ability to connect to a deeper or higher consciousness and to begin to see the exquisite tapestry of life forming in front of you in a way that reveals its true beauty is an amazing gift. I was one of the lucky ones. I stumbled upon Rudy. Stumbled may be the wrong word, but I walked into his store. This is after a trip around the world looking for people to teach me about higher consciousness, how to look at life more beautifully. And here was a man who said, I can teach you everything you want to know. That doesn't happen regularly. It hadn't happened to me in a year and a half of traveling around the world. Although I had people offer to teach me, there was no sense of they had the power to connect me to this exquisite vision. Rudy quite quietly and calmly said, I can give you what you want. And then did. He proceeded to say, look into my eyes, which was really interesting, and draw this energy from me and let it go inside and begin to open these channels inside you. I said, okay. I drew the energy coming from him as best I could. I was pretty ignorant, and it was, as you all know, pretty remarkable. The first thing I realized after looking at his eyes for a few minutes, and one of the first classes I took, was I was lying on the floor. Exploded. How did that happen? And the more I was with him, the more I experienced this unbelievable transmission of something that was hard to describe. It felt, as you might want to call it this, as like love. But it was also bigger than that. It was other dimensional. It was remarkable in that it was coming into me and then going into my chakras, the different centers, opening them up. And over the course now of 50 years, this energy has been circulating and working and making itself known. And it is now at a point where, I mean, it has been for a while, where I can, in a way, do what Rudy taught me to do, which is send this energy to you. Now, why are you here? Why are you sitting here? How have you managed to show up for this experience? Only you know the story. Only you know how and why you have arrived at this point of sitting still. And some of you have become reservoirs of receptivity and energy, and with an ability to present it back into the world just with your daily being and activity. Some of you take a thimbleful at a time, and you get a taste of it and go, I love that. It's so beautiful, but now I got other things to do. And then you come back, on occasion, and you take another thimbleful. No judgment. I'm really, literally no judgment. But the idea that you are in the presence of, we are in the presence of something transcendent that comes into the world story and shows us, one, how small it is, how familial it is, how core it is to what we are and what we experience, that we are all connected in this journey. And those of us sitting at this particular table are being given this unbelievable, extraordinary gift of awareness, higher consciousness. And it is a transcendent experience. In other words, we have the horizontal day-to-day life of our familial existence, worldly, familial, personal. And then there is this thing that happens when you meditate or when you enter into higher consciousness, where this thing goes, whoo, and suddenly it's not what it was. It's transformed into something hard to express, but it feels like joy, love, beauty, truth, gratitude, amazement, awe, and it's right here. And not only is it here, it is expansive and rising in ways that are inexplicable, so that you are somehow one of the rare beings that have been allowed or have been chosen, or you have chosen to come to the table to drink this unbelievable, uplifting, uprising energy and experience the amazement of its expansive richness. It is beyond and beyond, and it is not containable at all. In other words, it comes in and it carries you and it expands infinitely. And as you start to do this more and more and more and more, or give yourself over to it day by day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, suddenly you are in a state of wow. And it's not something you sit down to for a half hour in the morning. It's not something that you sit down occasionally, once a week or once a month. It's just there. And it is transformative on every level. But what it's doing is it is simply using you to connect to its own truth and to allow that truth back into this strange familial horizontal level of human life that is unbelievably in need of you. Unbelievably. Your capacity to give back or to allow this thing to flow out into the space and the ocean of human existence is incredible. It's so valuable. It's so essential. And you are being, in a way, given an opportunity to serve as you cannot even begin to imagine the highest of the high, and to let it be in the world, to let it be in your life. And it is, I mean, it is so other than your day-to-day, oh, this got to do this. Oh God, why did that happen? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? You know, I may have COVID. I may this. It doesn't matter. It's so transcendent of all of that that you just go, yes, yes, okay, okay, fine. I'm here. Show up. Be the vehicle, be the vessel, be the mechanism through which this remarkable, higher, possibly infinite, eternal, endless, beautiful, God given, God existing energy coming into you and then touching everything around you, everything around you. Whether you do the touching or don't do the touching, it can't help but happen. We are these exquisite beings, and I don't know how this sounds to each of you. I mean, probably it sounds, way overbloated and overstated, but it is not overstated. Trust me, we are dealing with and in touch with something so unbelievably extravagantly vast, and it's touching our little simple lives. It's touching the little day-to-day reality of our being and touching it in such a way that we are blessed by the attunement to this exquisite thing. The world needs you. It needs you. You can be a teacher, or you can just be a person going through the day, but go through the day with openness, awareness, kindness, goodness, being gentle, nice person, being honest, being real. Do all of that, but try to bring this consciousness, this higher consciousness into your expression every day with everyone around you. With Rudy would say the mandala of your life starts with your partners, your family, the people right next to you, and then it branches out and it goes out everywhere. You are so vital to this process. And if you don't feel that, if you're sitting here going, who's he talking to? And what is it, me? I'm not, I don't know, whatever your drama is inside, get over it. Get over it. It's so stupid. You are here. You're hearing these words for a reason. You're not here by chance. You have brought yourself to this table. This table is an important collective table where we are all in the family room together, eating and consuming this unbelievable energy for a reason, to be vital, to be vibrant, and to be servants, if you will, of this beauty and joy wherever we go. That's it. That's the whole idea. I'm getting old, and I don't know, I'm not going to be around forever to make these talks and to share this with you, but I have been finding among people, partly some of my students and others who are younger, that this thing is working. It's percolating in young people. And my biggest joy right now is knowing that it will be in the world after I am gone and all of us have left this space behind, that it is it is fine. The whole world is fine. It will be fine. That there is a new generation of people coming in who are going to be so attuned to this sort of exquisite reality, and will be part of sharing it with people. The need for this is going to be increasing regularly. It will be increasing daily, because those of you who are watching social media and the world, it is a world in need. This world needs this help. It needs people to come in and be this connectivity. If you are not sensing the transformative aspect of stillness, of higher connectivity, sit longer, ask harder, reach deeper. You're already at the table. It's already available. Make it present for yourself. Truly, trust me, it is other than day-to-day life. It feels like the best version of day-to-day life, only it goes way beyond that. It feels like you are lucky every second to be breathing and to be here and to be part of this thing. And you do get a very strong sense that it has no ending, and that the transition from here to wherever we go is only more of this. We're here for a reason. This is amazing. You are rare elements. You are not the everyday. Trust me. Bring the specialness of your awareness, not something that makes you egoistically better, but the specialness that you have been allowed, or you have found your way to, this exquisitely beautiful higher consciousness, and let it filter through and fill the world around you. That's all I can tell you. We're lucky to have found each other. We're lucky. I was lucky to meet Rudy. The system he provided was as simple as can be. I've shared that with you, and you have all continued to show up regularly to become recipients of this connection, become, if you will, conduits, become the angels of the world. Bring this joy and beauty into the day-to-day of your life, because that's what you're here to do. It will transform your life. It will transform the people in your life, and it will make your own life so much sweeter on a day-to-day basis. And that's all I can tell you. And, again, the world's getting smaller. It's getting a little crazier, maybe a lot crazier. Maybe we're just aware of it because of it's all in front of us. And you're a part of it. And you either become a transformative part of it, or you just become another cog in the machine. So it's up to you. It's up to you. You're here for a purpose. The energy is speaking to you directly. Open to it, receive it, share it, be it, and say thank you when you get a chance. That's it. Any pertinent questions or impertinent questions? Okay, well, I'm glad I'm not getting everybody on this page. Let me just go to the other page for a second. Any questions from the other page?
I'm just sitting here clapping my hands.
Oh,
Bravo.
Dale, you are, of all the people in the world, the biggest hand clapper I know, and you have every reason to be clapping your hands. You live and breathe this, and my gratitude for knowing you. And I'm not going to limit it to you, because I love everybody who's sitting here. But we are all lucky people. That's all I can tell you. And if you don't feel lucky, get to work, because you are lucky. Trust me, very lucky. Okay, I think anybody else, you can have to speak up or forever hold your peace. Okay, peace. Love you. Bye, everybody.